spin it around. Turn this all the way down. Keep it out the views. What's happening?
Right.
So first and foremost, I'd like to thank the brothers for coming, showing up, showing support. This was supposed to be a continuation of our men's collaboration meetings, but we decided we're going to use this to introduce ourselves officially to everyone and invite you all to listen to and join our podcast that we're creating called Pros and Cons. And it's about different aspects of perspectives when it comes to numerous topics. We're going to be talking about numerous things, everything from fatherhood, economics, relationships, you name it, we're going to talk about it. And one thing that we're going to do in this podcast is we're going to look at different perspectives. We have several brothers who are uniquely equipped to, in my opinion, to talk about these things from different perspectives. Myself, having done 26 years in prison, my name is Will. I'm going to have everyone else introduce themselves. And we're going to look at how we can make transitions, myself from the streets to being a successful member of our society, a successful entrepreneur, a successful workman, whatever the case may be. I handpicked two brothers that I think are especially qualified for this. The brother Keelan, who will introduce himself, and the brother Bryant, who will introduce themselves and give you a little bit of their background. And we can go from there.
What's going on Facebook? This is Keelan Bilal, owner, operator of Excalibur Barber Grooming Lounge. Also Grooming University as a nonprofit, as well as Psych Ward Bike Club, a community-based organization. Been in business as far as cutting hair for about 25, 26, I don't know. a lot of years cutting hair. Grew up on the south side of Youngstown, born and raised here in Youngstown. And I guess I'm one of the representatives of the business side of the pros and the cons, professional side, should I say, of that pro and con. So thanks for having me.
My name is Darnell Walker. I'm the owner of Determined Life Fitness, part owner of DAB Property Group. We do real estate as far as developing, not developing, we do flips, wholesales, about to do rental properties. But before that, I was locked up for 25 years in federal prison. So now, I'm just trying to be successful and guide any young people in the right direction to do what I'm trying to do now and not do what I did before.
Cool. I'm Bryant Youngblood. I have to say, man, I am a community servant. Anything that I do, it's always really geared behind me trying to fulfill some of the needs that I feel like our community needs. But I am currently the assistant director at the Academy for Urban Scholars High School. We're looking out for people from the ages of 14 to 21, but we also offer education to the 22 and up population as well. Also the executive director with the Mahoning Valley Fatherhood Coalition. You know, our big thing is to try to create brotherhood amongst fathers to help develop one another, you know, and also remove those barriers that may be keeping some people from seeing their children or just overall becoming a better man. That's our goal. I'm sitting here now with my man Shimmy. We're just trying to make something happen, man. Try to do something positive, try to impact our communities, bring something new to the table, and hopefully change some lives.
I appreciate that. This is this podcast was an ultimate vision that I had when I started the men's collaboration. I wanted to get a core group of brothers who I could trust, who I knew was on the same thing that I was on, had the same vision, maybe different ways of going about it, but the same vision about doing something for the community, giving brothers a platform. So that black men, we don't really have a platform.
No.
Giving brothers a platform to be able to express themselves, get some of their stuff out. You know, I shared a couple things with you all that happened to me over the weekend where, you know, some brothers was really ready to do some detrimental things. I didn't, Darnell wasn't here, but, you know, brothers ready to do some detrimental things and take some lives over what me and Keelan talked about earlier is 95% of the time, nothing, you know, but if we don't start learning how to cope and start knowing that it's okay to talk, the only outlet you're going to have is going to be a negative outlet, right? So when I started the men's groups, ultimately my vision was to create a podcast to reach bigger people, you know? And so and we've been in the process of doing that. Today was supposed to be the men's group, but, you know, God works how God's work. And so we're gonna use this time to introduce what's going to eventually be our podcast. We still going to work out the days, make sure everybody can participate. But I really think that that's a platform that's needed for us, especially in this community. And I think it's going to help a lot of people. You know, I was kind of taking it personal when people weren't showing up for the men's thing. I'm like, man, like, brothers always, I go out in the, you know, in the neighborhood or whatever, and brothers be like, man, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of what you're doing, da-da-da. And my response is, well, why ain't you showing up then? Like, why you ain't supporting it? And, you know, people would be in my ears, sisters and brothers be like, you know, your vision is your vision. Ain't nobody going to be more passionate about your vision than you about your vision. And so I had to just kind of take a step back and stop taking it so personal, right? If brothers show up, they do. If they don't, they don't. But ultimately, my goal is to try to reach as much people. And I think our goal is, y'all can speak for yourself, to reach as many people as possible. Because even if somebody don't show up, they might hear something that's going to help them, you know, not do something detrimental to them that they might be thinking about doing. So I want us to talk about everything from sports to suicide to mental health, because we know we got some real mental health issues, and black folks, we self-medicate, which ain't the answer, because, you know, you get high and you go do something crazy. The justice system ain't gonna care that you're depressed. They ain't gonna care that you did it because you lost your job. They just gonna lock you up. So we gotta find alternatives. So that's ultimately my motivation behind this, and I believe you all's motivation behind it, or partly anyway. I've had conversations with you all. I know that y'all all serious about it also. Today, I want to introduce the first topic, which is fatherhood. Now, I know all of you all can talk about this real. I don't have any biological children. I have a son from a prior relationship that I took that role on, and I'm really trying to, as much as I can, from not living in this city right now, be an influence on him. He 18 and he think like he know the world, so it's like, and I know that feeling. So not being there every day, being hands-on with him and watching over him, you know, your words only go so far.
Right.
And if you haven't if you haven't established a foundation, you fight an uphill battle. So actually, Keelan and I ride, and we said, you know what, that would be a good topic to have today. So the universe brought it in. So I'm gonna lay it on the table and get you all's perspective on fatherhood.
I'm gonna let young blood.
Y'all gonna sit in my way?
I'm sitting that your way.
Man, I'd say, man, fatherhood is such a touchy subject for me. From my own personal experiences as a father currently, but even when I go back to when I was a young one, behind, like, you know, my relationship with my dad, or his relationship with his dad. So what I started to notice as I got older was how it all was connected. You know what I mean? So for a while, you know, I was mad at my father because he wasn't around like I wanted him to be. So I was upset with him. I always would hold it against him. Not really realizing that I was pushing him further away. You know what I'm saying? By always being that way. Now, it took me until I was in my 20s to realize that he probably had some things going on, or even for me to really realize he never really learned how to be a father because he didn't have his father. And I ain't learned that till I got to meet so I got to meet his dad and my grandfather, which was I was 17 years old when I met him for the first time. You know what I mean? So now when I got into my 20s, and I was able to start getting to talk to my grandfather a little more, and then talk to my dad a little more, and then understanding myself, I'm like, dang, I'm really just like my grandfather. I'm really just like my dad. But this entire time without him, it's been questions that I had unanswered that I never understood because I didn't have those pieces. So I can only understand how my dad felt now. He didn't understand himself. How to move or how to go forward. How can you when you don't really completely know who you are? And I think without your dad around, you never will.
I like that. Before we keep going, why don't y'all switch?
Keep the aesthetic, huh?
Yeah, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know Double's story a little. You know what I'm saying? He raised me down there. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know y'all. We gonna come from pretty much a similar on most things. So I really want people to get the differences. You know what I'm saying? And I think once we put those pictures up, and that's gonna be something real powerful.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Make it even more
it's gonna
understood.
make
People understand it a
absolutely
lot better. Yeah.
because I for me too, you know, education and how valuable it is gonna be critical to what it is we trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Keelan.
I mean, again, just like you, I'm biologically not a father, you know. So there's a lot of things I can't touch on that, but I think from my perspective, I got 6 nieces. So I feel like a father for them because, you know, the protective state goes in, you know, you're not like, everybody has an uncle somewhere, but they don't necessarily take on that same protection feature as a father would. But for me, it was just me and my sister for a while, for a long time. And with 6 nieces, man, that's immediately like, nah, these all girls. Like, so that's 7 girls.
Right.
You know, for me as a man, you know, you take on that perspective. Like, everybody got to be protected. So, you know, I do feel like a father, as well as, you know, a lot of stuff that I do in the community. And I realize the importance of having a father be by your side, or at least a mentor or a big brother or something like that that's always there to, you know, guide you, you know, in a positive direction. So, I mean, my relationship with my dad was wonderful. It was great. Like, it's not a whole lot of things that I could say that I was mad at my father about. Like, maybe catching and whipping in front of a girl.
Right. Feel that. The money that came from my father, but I sure was worried about from my mother.
You know what I'm saying?
Know that.
Maybe some of that embarrassment, but, you know, he was always there, even in, you know, it may have been times when they wandered off in another direction, you know, in their lifestyles, that I might have felt unloved from him, and that was more of a selfish understanding of the situation. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he didn't love me. It was just something that he was coping with that he couldn't get away from. You know what I mean? But early on, I didn't understand that until, you know, later on in life you start recognizing and seeing perspectives. You know, but you know, for me, he did everything he needed to do for a father. Like, as far as grooming me, you know, teaching me to be a man, teaching me, you know, being protected for your family, not just your sister, but your entire family. So,
But you know what, I want to rephrase this question before I get to you, Darnell, because Keelan said something that was really important, and so I want you to answer it. What do you remember about your father and how it affected your life?
First thing that comes, if I immediately think of my dad, I think of my dad's attire, how he was always well kept.
Okay.
Like, my dad always had clothes fresh out the cleaners. Jeans always properly ironed, shirts always crispy with a crease, always kept clean shoes on his feet. You know what I mean? So for me, the most effective thing that my dad's ever taught me is how to keep myself well groomed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I take my appearance very seriously, and that's one thing that I got from my dad. And the crazy part was, when I met my grandfather for the first time, fresh to death. You know what I'm saying? Top to bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dang, this is something that's carried on throughout generations with us, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so crazy how you meet your father, you meet your grandfather after so long, and you realize how similar you guys are without ever having a conversation. You know what I mean? They can tell you things about yourself that you didn't quite understand, and they never even met you before.
Right.
Like, you ever dealt with this before? Or no, I wouldn't even say. He said, I bet you've had this experience. And then he'd break the whole thing down to me. And it was 100% accurate.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's nuts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's wild, man.
That is. That's
wild.
wild.
So yeah, that would be what I take away from my dad, man.
Okay.
He was always well kept a clean car. Wake up in the morning, take his car to go get washed. Like I said, everything he put on coming straight out the plastic from the cleaners. So, it's just a given now, though.
Yeah,
That's
right.
how I
man.
gotta carry myself. I gotta be clean like my pops. You know
I
what
feel
I mean?
that.
Yeah.
What about you, Double?
With me, it was like, my father was never there, but my mother always taught us, like, no matter what, that's your father. So when he come in and out, always welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I got locked up, so I really don't have no memories of him like that. But what really stuck out to me most is when I got locked up before he passed, and the bond that we shared in that moment before he passed. That's what I will always cherish. But I always said that I would never be like him. You know, no matter what, I was gonna be my kid's life. So from being locked up and still being in my kid's life, I never realized how much, you know, the advice I gave them, how much it really meant to them until they talk about it. Like, it's been plenty of times where my son say, it's like something happened. He was like, I just thought about what you told me, and I used your advice. And I may have, you know, applied it my own way. I said, what? And at that moment I knew it was like, and he was actually listening to me. Same with my daughter, same thing. And they always talk about the advice I gave them was helpful and this and that. But another thing that stuck to me too is they always, you know, it upset them that I wasn't there. My son was 2 years old when I got locked up. My daughter was 7 months. So when they expressed like how their friend's father was there but wasn't there, and they say like, Dad, you was there more for us than their father was there for them, and you not here physically.
Right.
So that meant something to me. That meant a lot to me. But like how you broke it down from your grandfather to your father to you. Now, with me, I never wanted to be like how my father was, in and out. Even though I got locked up, that was my mistake. But I did all I could through the phones, visits, letters. So that had to get to my son, because my son is everything I wanted to be as a father. He sacrificed everything. Like, he was in the service. When he got out of the service, his fiance was still in the service. She's still in the service. Well, at one particular time, he sacrificed everything. Like, he didn't go get a job or nothing. He was like a stay-home mom. And I understood why he did it. It was eating him up because he wanted to be out there taking care of his family. But he knew this is what he had to do. He had to get his son on the right path. And when he had his daughter, he had to get her on the right path. Then he started working. So when he was doing that, and I told him, I said, man, I'm proud of you. I say, even though I messed up, I say, but what you doing with your kids, that's exactly what I want to do for you and your sister. So when I look at fatherhood, when you first put this question together like that, first thing came to my mind is my son. He's to me, he's the true definition of father.
He defines father.
Respect.
Yes. And
That's all.
listen, that's bringing tears to my eyes right now, man. I respect my son so
had
much.
me teared up.
Yeah.
Salute young DJ. I remember young DJ. Salute young DJ. For real. That's good stuff.
And then I like how you said, that comment that person said, well, you said your son said it, he said that you were more of a father than what another
Both of
friend,
my son and my daughter said that.
than another friend whose father was physically there.
But he wasn't there.
But he wasn't there like the way that you were for your kids, and it allowed them to grow to be what they are now.
Exactly.
That's dope. That's real cool.
So posing this question, I was stuck on how you broke stuff down, right? And let me say this. This is interactive, so if y'all have questions that y'all want answered, ask them. I'll try to read them. Comments, I'll try to read them. What Brian said stuck to me as far as grandfather, father, when he was passed down, right? I learned violence. My grandfather was a pastor right down here on at St. James AME Church. I forgot the name of the street, but it's on Marion or somewhere like that, right? But my grandfather used to beat the heck out of my granny. And I only seen it a couple times, but your parents and your aunties and uncles and tell you stories and stuff, right? And all I remember about my father is violence. Beating up my mother, beating up me, making me tough, quote unquote. He knocked my teeth out of my mouth. My mother would say something, look at her, she'd be quiet. He'd say, I'm toughening him up, he'll be all right, right? So thinking about how you just put that, is it any wonder that I was violent?
Yeah.
Generation.
Because I don't have, and my family used to always tell me all the time, your temper just like your daddy's.
Yeah.
I don't even know the guy. Gave me something I don't even know him. Your temper just like your daddy's, right? Couple that with what I seen. I remember when I was 10 years old, and this is how it affected me, but I'm glad that it was addressed early, even though it took some time for me to work through some things. I was 10 years old and called myself liking this girl on my street. She had a boyfriend. I don't want to hear that, right? So it's summertime. I'll never forget this. It's summertime. We standing in my front yard, and I want her to give me a kiss, and she don't want to give me a kiss. And I pick her up in the air. I'm about to body slam her.
Because she ain't give you a kiss?
Because she ain't give me a kiss. Because she didn't, real talk, because she didn't do what I wanted her to do. And in my household, I seen if you didn't do what my daddy wanted you to do, he gonna put his hands on you. And then you did it. So at 10 years old,
You understood it.
I understood
The
that.
process.
What messed me up was when I got the girl in the air, my mama come to the door, and you know how your mama or your daddy can say your name a certain way, and you don't know what you did, but you know you're doing something wrong.
Time stops.
Time stops. And I got the girl in the air, and my mama said, Lamont? I said, huh? She said, what you doing with that girl? I said, nothing. She said, I know, because only punks hit women. And I put the girl down. But now I'm messed up.
Right.
Because I've seen punks hit you,
Right.
and you do what they want you to do.
Yeah.
So, okay, I ain't supposed to hit a woman or a girl, but how do I get them to do what I want them to do? So I never put my hands on a girl after that, or female after that, but it took me a while to understand and process all of this stuff. Like, okay, that wasn't cool, but it did work, but it ain't cool.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was coming from your mother, too,
Right.
who you've seen experience it.
Right.
And she been going through it.
Right. So I'm like, so now I'm schizophrenic almost. I want you to do this, but I can't do this to make you do this. So how do I get you to do this?
Never taught how to.
I was never taught. I never had an example of what you're supposed to do as a man. I never had that, right? And I know for me personally, I sought it. I sought him. You know what I'm saying? Through somebody else, but I sought him. I didn't have big brothers. I was the oldest. So my little brothers looked to me for examples. But who am I looking to for example? Right? So I need to know what I need to do. I need to know how I'm supposed to do it. I need to know how I'm supposed to move. Because I didn't get it in that. Because what I did get, I was told was wrong. So now I need to figure out how I'm supposed to get it. Now, the reality was, we didn't have a lot of brothers. that I came across, let me say that, because you got good brothers in the hood. They don't get the attention. We're going to get on that too, because you know how I feel about
That's
you.
gonna be a topic.
They don't, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
gonna be a
They don't
topic.
get the attention that's required for somebody like me to say, okay,
And listen.
that's cool, and I can listen to that. Because the real for real, he got all the attention. So this is where I need to be. This is who I want to be with. This is who I want to be like. So I think having that example is extremely critical to our development as boys, right?
I agree.
But if you don't have that example, then what do you do?
If you don't, I think you got. There's always an example out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think it always exists. But like you said, what are you attracted to? And it kind of does tie back into our conversation that we had at our prior meeting. You know what I mean? People that are on the other side of it, even having that ability to attract you to their way of thinking or their perspective. Like, what could I, if I was myself at the time that you were 10 years old or 12 years old, what could I have done that would have had you come attract towards me instead of being attracted to the streets?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the answer that we're trying to figure out. You know what I mean?
It's rough. I mean, because you did the right thing. I mean, you did go seek someone out. It's just what you were seeking.
Right.
Might have been the wrong way. You did the exact thing you were supposed to do because you was being taught wrong. You just sought it in a different way. You
Right.
sought it out in a different way. Like that lane was like, the vision was blurred here, and it was like, there it is.
So, and then let me ask you, so why just go to like one person? Like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I went to people that probably weren't doing the right thing either, but that wasn't the only influence that I sought out. You know what I'm saying? I got what I needed from that person. I went to somebody else and got it from another person. You know what I'm saying? Sports was another avenue, you know? So it's like you can get information and advice from many different people and different avenues to help you learn and be that example.
That's a good point. That's a great point. So I'm going to tell you. So what happened with me was I literally didn't really have a positive example to seek out from, right? I had an uncle who you would say was on the straight and narrow, but my uncle used to kick my ass.
Right.
So I'm staying away from him. I'm staying away from him, right? Even whatever jewels you give me, yeah, I'm staying away from you because every time I come over there, you dog walking me under the guise of discipline. Yeah, we ain't about to keep doing that. But what happened was, so tying it all in, you can do it now as an adult, but so I wanted this girl at 10 years old. I thought physically doing something to her was going to make her give me what I wanted, right? Realized that was wrong, but I'm still confused. Okay, how do I get the girl to do what I want? Now, couple that with, I'm in school, I ain't got a whole bunch of clothes, I ain't got a whole bunch of gear, I ain't the flies dude. So, who the flies dudes? So at 12, as much as a 12-year-old can make a conscious decision, I said, I'm going to get the pack so I can get some money, so I can get some girls. Because I know I can't put my hands on them. So I got to be fly, and I got to be cool, and I got to be the
the
dude
answer right there.
to get the girls. That was what I was attracted to.
He was fly.
He was fly.
Yeah, the baby.
They got the trucks. That's okay. That's what it takes. Let's go. I'm all in. I'm all in. And Darnell had said something one day. As far we was kicking. He was like, you know, we was all trying to figure it out, right? But at 12, he's only 4 years older than me. But at 12, 13, that's a big difference. And he's from Detroit, so they faster up there anyway. That's a huge difference. So I never even knew we was that close in age. I'm looking at this like these dudes was grown as heck.
Grown.
But they trying to figure it out. So now you got two brothers right here with no fathers, no examples of what figuring it out is, influencing each other. That's a recipe for a mess, for a disaster, right? So, and I think as we go, we're going to see a lot of that because I know our stories are similar. I know y'all stories are similar, slight variances and stuff, but the outcomes are so drastically different, but almost predictable based on where you come from, based on what your grooming was, what your upbringing was, what you experienced. That's why I love this. That's why I'm so excited about this, because you're going to have people who don't understand that side. You're going to have people who understand this side. But the goal is to get the people who even understand this side to get on that side. Because we know understanding this side and being attracted to this side, the end result of it ain't what you want. Ain't what you want to stand up under.
Right. And see, to add on to what you were saying, how you look and seen us, we got it from somebody else.
You're right.
And it just so happened we come down here and see opportunity. So now, young age, we get a chance to do something we couldn't do there, we can do it here. Brand new. So by him looking at us, we was looking at somebody else. So it goes to what you said. So it just could be like this: little brother, big brother, and I seen my oldest brother do it. You know, I seen my oldest brother where my mother, she lost her job.
Yeah, I remember you said he went out. He went out and brought back. He was gone for a couple days.
Gone for a couple weeks.
Yep, I remember that.
Come back, bag full of money. Give my mother, say, pay your rent, catch up on the mortgage, all that. Here goes some money for some food. So me and my youngest brother, we looking at, we like, yeah, we gotta talk. That's how we get it up. Right. We gotta talk. So, cause I mean, if anybody knows back then, it was always the three of us. Sometimes I wasn't in the car because me and my oldest brother, we stayed fighting. So he'd kick me out the car. But anyway, it was always the three of us. So when he left, it was like, we looking through the whole neighborhood. We can't find him. We like, something wrong. And growing up in Detroit, now it's like that anyway, but back then, growing up there, if you can't find somebody in a length of time like that, it's not good.
Yep.
So when he came back and did that, that's, man, me and my youngest brother, that's the first thing we said, we going with you. Because we seen guys our age, younger than us or older than us, like riding around in Benz, BMW. Even they had to put a yellow pages up on their butt. For those who don't know, before the internet, it was a yellow page.
Right.
When you want to find any information, it was a yellow page. Yes, I'm old. So they'll sit on that, driving the car and be theirs.
Yeah.
So we seeing this, we like, man, how can we get this?
Right.
Had no connect, but we came out here, got an idea, had a little money, went from there. But the whole thing is if things would have been different, this ain't offensive, things would have been different if my brother left and wouldn't join the army or something. Because that runs in my family. My great-grandfather, my uncles on my mother's side, all of them was in the service. You know, it skipped a generation because my son went, but we didn't. But say if he would have did that, would that have changed our influence?
Probably.
Absolutely.
Because how we looked up to him.
Probably.
Yep.
That
It's
would have
funny you
changed
say
our
that.
influence.
It's funny you say that, because as you was talking, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, and I had 3 younger brothers. Said I was the oldest. I had 3 younger brothers. And when I played football, they played football. Right? If I'm fighting in the streets, they fighting in the streets. When I jumped off I didn't jump off the porch. I was forced off the porch. They came off the porch. And I remember, and I don't even know if he remembers this, but I remember my mom had attempted to save my life, and she called my football coach at the time, who I call Pops now. She called Kevin, Mr. Tarpley, and she said, I need you to take my son with you. He was moving to Boston. And she said, I need you to get him out of here. So he came and got me. I was up there for 6 months. It ain't work. I ain't know nobody. I'm ready to go. I came on back, got right back in trouble, right? Because I didn't deal with a lot of my traumas As a child who had never told nobody about it. So when I go to him and he's trying to love me like a father loves a son, I'm internalizing it in a different way. You trying to do something to me. I already been molested. I've been through sexual abuse. You trying to do something. I'm out of here. Had I spoke on it or talked to somebody or asked for help, my life might have turned out different. But fast forward, I get in trouble. My mom asked my uncle to come get me. He got his own business in Baltimore. I go to Baltimore, right? My brother called me, my dude Kitchen got killed. My brother called me, he said, man, they killed Kitchen. I'm literally, I'll never forget this. I'm sitting on the living room floor doing homework. I said, man, what you want me to do? My brother talked to me like I was a dude in the streets. Like, yeah, some names I ain't gonna say, but he challenged my manhood and all of that. Now this time I'm 17 years old. This is my baby brother. I can't have my brother looking at me like no sucker, no punk, no none of that. Damn.
What year is this? 89, 88?
Yep. No, 90.
90 is when the
90
Kitchen
had
got
to be.
killed? What year did Kitchen get killed? That had to be 89, 88.
It wasn't 88.
That was 92.
Was it?
No,
I was in the hospital when he got killed. That's how I remember.
It was
I
earlier
can't.
than that.
No, that was when I was in. That was 90, 91.
Kitchen got killed. I was in the hospital because Eric Builder just got shot. And I remember somebody coming there telling me.
I came back to Ohio in 92, bro.
No,
Kitchen
it was earlier than
Kitchen was already dead, bro.
It was
Think
earlier.
about it.
No, you think
I'm
I'm
telling
telling
you.
you. I remember because I was in the hospital. Somebody came and told. Matter of fact, my children's mother, she came and told.
Well, whatever year it was, I want to challenge you on that, but whatever year it was, my brother, when he called me and told me this, you know, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
All he remember is me, the street dude. And now he in the streets, so he can't understand me doing something other than responding in a street way. And I ain't secure enough and strong enough in who I'm trying to be to respond other than I can't let my brother think I'm no punk.
Right.
So I get back to Ohio. I don't run into the dude who they say did none of that, but I'm back in Ohio, but I'm Drew back. The day that I get back, he riding up the street. See me, pull over. We right back to like we ain't never left.
Hey, Mr. B.
Hey, Mr. B, right? But I say that to say, when he learned from his brother, he brung it to me. I brung it to my brother. The common denominator is, ain't now one of us have a father figure to show us something other than what we were showing each other. Now on this side, you had a grandfather, you had a father. They showed you something. He had a father. I don't know if you spoke on your grandfather.
Nah, he passed early in my life. So
Okay.
He was there.
But y'all had something other than the streets to show y'all something different. Like you say, you sought out different things, but you was able to seek out different things. We seeking out each other, and we ain't got nothing to give to each other but what we got.
Right.
But so here's my other question. Here's my second question. What do you think is the most important lesson you can teach your child, if you could pick one?
I gotta answer this right now. Do I gotta go do some research? Yeah, man. The most important lesson.
Give me your top three.
Um,
Look at the camera.
I would say the most important thing. One of the most important things to teach your child is confidence, because, like you stated, when you was up there and your brother called you, and he challenged you pretty much. He gave you the street side of it, but you kind of trying to move to the other direction. If your confidence was a little higher and stronger, maybe you would have stood where you were and told your brother how he should respond, because he's in the thick of it. This is how you shouldn't. You shouldn't go do this. You shouldn't go get back out there. You know what I'm saying? So it takes a certain amount of confidence in yourself for you to really say, nah, I ain't going that direction. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, even if it isn't the cool thing to do, though. You know
I
what
agree
I'm saying?
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say confidence is probably one of the biggest, man. And I said because we all get tempted, man. Like, I don't care what side you're coming from. You're going to deal with temptation. And sometimes it's going to come from the people that you love most. You got what I'm saying? And when they give you that offer, when they throw this your way, you know what I mean? You got to make a choice. You're going to stick with what you know. You're going to be confident in who you are and what you know you're working towards, or you're going to fall victim to what they're trying to get you to succumb to.
Facts.
You know what I mean? You hit that fork. You know what I mean? So confidence, man. That's what I would say. If I had to go with one.
Yeah, go ahead, Keith. That's it right there for me. Because I moved a lot being unconfident. I moved a lot with because of low self-esteem.
Yeah. Yep.
I moved a lot of my decisions was based off of low self-esteem. So I agree with you on that. Go ahead, Keith.
I'm gonna say love. I'm gonna say love because we all are taught. We're not taught what love is from a father's perspective all the time. Like we're taught discipline from a father's perspective a lot. You know, that's the type of love we receive. So a well-rounded love. I'll say that a well-rounded love
like
because. But he knows how to love me, and I could take that love and deliver it in my own way to whoever it needs to be. I could direct it how he taught me how to love. And so in that way, and you kind of alluded to it earlier in your statement, because Mr. Tarpley was loving you.
Right.
You didn't understand that love.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a different type of love received because you had been
Traumatized.
from what you thought love was.
Right.
Yeah.
And somebody delivering it to you, they delivered it in the wrong way because it was love taking advantage of you.
That's true, man.
And you received it. So you received that being taken advantage of from that love to a whole nother person that was giving you the love the right way.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And
And
twisted.
it's so often, man. So many times I come across people that don't know how to respond to love, though.
For sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They be ready to buck up at you.
Yeah.
Or they want to challenge you because they don't understand, like, what you're trying to provide for them. Like, nah, like you said, I can't trust this cat.
Yeah.
He might be trying to do something, too.
Somebody said you was right. Said it was 92.
Like you said, he might be trying to do something to me, though.
Stuff like
You know what I
that.
mean? A lot of cats don't know how to respond to a person providing or giving them love, though.
Right.
It's really, and I can't understand it,
Summer.
but it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth, man.
And to add on to what y'all said, because like how this whole thing is coming about, this something that we seeked out late. Y'all got it early. Education. To go add to what y'all two said, I have to throw education there. Because not on the con side, we wasn't, I know with me, like he was saying about far as his gear and all that. I hate to say it, but it's a part of me. I dropped out of school because I didn't have no money. I couldn't dress. Detroit is a fashion show. And I went to one of the schools that was strictly about that. If you get caught wearing the same thing in the same week, you getting clowned.
Yeah. You had that on Monday.
Yeah.
And
Like
they
you
gonna
said,
know.
Like you said, challenge your manhood. So I'm be like,
They gonna know.
I'm ready to fight. What you doing looking at me like that for? But he's right.
Yeah. I did have it on Monday.
But the whole thing is like,
You knew it. You just hope that nobody else look close enough to know it.
so,
Dang, I gotta wear these again.
you know, I look back, it's like, go to what you said too again, confidence. I dropped out for the stupidest reason in the world. Because I couldn't go to school dressed nice. You know, I didn't want to go, and at like one particular point, it was like me, my brothers and sisters, we all was like the same size. We was all going to different schools. So if I come in something new on, somebody be sitting on the couch, go take that off. I'm wearing it to school tomorrow. Go ahead. We was cool. But when hard times hit, and none of us could do that,
Yeah.
and that outfit I had on Monday, it's Wednesday. I'm thinking about putting on again. Okay. I'm going to skip.
Because you know you're gonna get clowned at school.
And
I
that's
like that, man.
listen,
Confidence. That is.
Yeah.
That is. But how do you if any of y'all can articulate it, how do you begin to instill that in your child? Like, yeah, how do you begin to instill that in your child or any child? Because that's key, man. Just a sense of healthy self-esteem is gonna keep you out of a lot of stuff because we move off of peer pressure a lot of times, either directly or indirectly.
It's love.
Love.
Love is one piece.
It's love. That's definitely a heavy piece. Like you, being self-confident means loving yourself.
Exactly.
True.
That's very true.
Means
Exactly.
loving yourself, and if it's taught to love yourself, it don't matter what, it ends up not mattering what other people think about you. You think less of what, like, somebody else says about you in school. Like, because we all go through it. We all go through the teasing stage. That's part of what, that's like rites of passage almost. You
Right,
know what I mean?
right,
Going through
absolutely.
that school. I know the feeling exactly. Wearing a shirt Monday, Wednesday come up, I got this shirt back on, you know what I mean? And I know I'm gonna go to school, and I'm the smallest dude in school. So I know I'm gonna go to school, get teased, I'm gonna have to just keep to myself, not talk to nobody. And I don't wanna go, I'm gonna go out the back door, I'm gonna come in the back door, you know what I mean? So nobody, hopefully I ain't seen that whole self-confidence thing is huge.
And you see my route. I just didn't go.
We just
There you go.
And I went,
right.
but I tried to straddle the fence because I played football is what kept me in school.
Right.
Right? That's what because I love football. That kept me in school. But it's like I gotta be here, but I gotta get some gear. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? So back to fatherhood. Like I think, the common denominator between us is there wasn't that example.
Yeah.
You all had on certain levels that example where it's like, okay, I do have other options. I don't believe I had no other options.
Right.
Like I really at that age didn't believe I had any other options. I didn't know anything other than what I had seen. And what I seen was, you done got put out, homie. You better go ahead and
Right.
get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With the low self-esteem as a sail beneath my wing,
Yeah. Oh yeah. A big sale.
a big sail.
Yeah, you catching all that.
And I don't even know though that I'm moving like that. I don't even know that I'm moving with unknowing that it's because if you would have asked me, I wouldn't have thought that. But then I know that I gotta wear this on Monday, so I can't wear it again till Friday because they're gonna clown me if I wear it on Friday. And I've been cracked on so hard in school. If I wasn't scared of my mama whooping my butt, I would have skipped school, right? I remember it's so crazy that when my stepdad wound up putting me out, it was almost like a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways because I wasn't forced to engage or encounter the things that I was trying to get away from. Because as long as I'm in there, regardless of what's going on in the house, I got to go to school.
Right.
I'm going to school and
Right.
they gonna dog me.
But once they put you out, you ain't have to.
But once they put me out, I ain't have to go to school. Even though I wanted to go to school because I wanted to play football. So, but once I get me some gear, I can go to school. I don't care. They're gonna call me the fly thing walking. Know what I'm saying?
Side note on outfits, because I one of the things that changed my mind about what I was wearing in school. Downtown, you got all the two guys, the connection and stuff like that. You think you getting geared for school and stuff. They had this outfit one year. It was they had three of them. It was a red one, it was a blue one, and I think it was a green one. Had these little gold stripes and had these little tiger stripes on it, right? So ninth grade, I'm like, I'm coming to school fly first day this year. I ain't gonna get cracked on.
They was killing you with that outfit. Killing him. I already know they was killing me.
Bruh, first off, it was a sweatsuit, and the first day of school was so hot.
Yeah.
It was so hot. I'm in there, full red, these little tiger stripe pattern, the gold, and the sleeve zip off, right? So, and the pants.
You swear you fresh.
Swear I'm fly. Walk in school. My boys like, woo, you fly. the chick that I thought was going. And then so after school, I'm like, dang, I ain't get. I'm standing outside of. I'm right on Glenhaven. My sister's boyfriend. Their family lived right there across from the boys' club. I'm standing outside, and I just hear somebody right down the street. They like, Pac-Man, like, you know, like I'm like, they talking about I'm the only cat outside. I'm like, I'm throwing this outfit away. What I wear from now on, never wore it again, man. I done paid all my precious money for this thing.
Yeah.
Right,
And I want to read this comment real quick before we pass. Sabrina said, allowing your child to be seen, soothed, secure, and safe. These are the foundations of what stability is. What y'all think about that?
Say it one more time.
Seen, soothed,
secure,
and safe.
seen, soothed, secure, and safe.
It's like Maslow a little bit.
That's from your girl too, though.
Oh, that's Miss Jones. Yeah, Miss Jones would bring some deep psychology, psychological. Yeah, but
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. The problem is, it's not a problem. The task or the task is getting us as men to see that as acceptable
To be soothed.
behavior to display to our child.
right. Yeah, like you feeling comfortable even showing those
Emotions.
things she mentioned.
Right. Because we still in a society where it's starting to move. The needle is starting to move where it's okay for men to show something other than aggression.
Yeah.
But when we was coming up, that's all you better not cry.
Right.
You get a whooping, you better not cry. My uncle said if I cried, I was getting extra lashes.
Right.
You beat me.
Right.
And I can't shed a tear.
And I can't shed a tear.
I used to get in trouble because I wouldn't shed a tear.
Right. You trying to be tough.
Yeah. So I kept getting whooping because I wouldn't cry.
'Cause you wouldn't cry.
I had to make myself cry.
Don't cry.
You get 10 lashes to start with. And mind you, this ain't no whooping. This is abuse. I don't care what nobody say. When you tell the child to take a shirt off, bend over, grab the vent in the bathroom, and you whooping them with your weight belt, the belt you work out with,
Yeah,
that's abuse, man.
Yeah, that's a little much.
I don't care nothing about that. That's some slavery modified type stuff.
Yeah.
And then you tell me I can't cry,
Right.
or I'm gonna get 10 extra lashes.
Man.
Okay, but it's gonna come out somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
that-
gonna come out
That
somewhere.
anger and frustration gonna come out on
You better
somebody.
believe that. You better believe that.
Yeah.
So, but even that's the extreme version. But even when you got little brothers, you better not cry, punk. Shut up.
Or
You know
when
what
you
I'm saying?
get hurt,
Or when you get
Shake
hurt,
it off.
Shake it off.
shake it off, get up, go do it again.
You know what I'm saying? You better not. I better not see no tear come down your eye. It don't hurt. It hurt.
Real bad.
Right.
I remember I broke my wrist one time, right? Speaking of raw, we playing basketball in the house. So we used to I know everybody probably did, we used to get a metal hanger, round that joke out, put it on the door and shut it.
Ain't no mystery.
So we in there playing basketball with the socks. So I go up one time, being the brother that he is, he takes my legs out.
Oh.
So I fall, and I hurt my wrist. So, I'm crying. So he like, man, shake it off, you cool? Shake it off, you cool? My mom come in like, boy, quit crying, you all right? Shake it off. I am crying, I'm not about to stop crying. You know what I'm saying? Before you know it, my mom come back in there, man, I'm on my knees praying, man, because my stuff hurting so bad. Go to the hospital, my stuff is broken. But they ain't think that. They telling me
Right.
to shake it
Shake
off,
it
shake it
off.
off, because they think I'm supposed to be tough.
Ain't no mystery.
My wrist is broken.
Right.
My wrist was
right.
broke. And y'all telling me to shake something off, just that idea, that soothing. Why ain't nobody come say, man, let me make sure you all right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it goes to your point. A lot of the time, you ain't allowed to
You ain't
cry
allowed
as a
to
young
do that.
man, though. You supposed
So
to
I
shake
think
it
that's a
off and
key
push through
ingredient.
it.
I think that's a key ingredient to father. What she said, showing your child as a man, especially your boys,
Yeah.
because girls do it naturally,
Yeah.
but especially your boys, showing them it's cool, man. I ain't about to look at you less than. I ain't about to take nothing away from you. I ain't about to punish you for expressing your emotions.
Yeah, get it out.
Express them,
expression.
allow it, and then let's deal with them accordingly.
Right.
A lot of times, the truth of the matter is, a lot of times our parents wasn't equipped to deal with them accordingly. So they don't want to deal with them at all because they don't know what to do. Your dad see you crying, he don't know what to do. Boy, shut up.
Yeah.
Because he don't know what to do. Because ain't nobody showing him.
Right. That's true. That's true. And the crazy part is now we're doing it for each other as men.
Man.
Because we still don't know how to express ourselves and be open about our emotions and what we're internalizing on, for probably the majority of our days.
Yeah.
We just getting to the point, even having a man's meeting, we finally get to a point we can sit at the table and discuss how we really feel about something.
Be comfortable.
And
And
be
be
comfortable
comfortable
opening
with it.
up about how you
Right.
really feel. You might shed a tear in one of these groups, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I done
And
been
being
to-
cool with that.
I came close today.
I'm telling you, I done been to a couple and I said I got to
I'm
break
telling
down.
you, man, when I started my program in the joint, man, my respect program, it was always a time where you got 20, 30 guys in there. And you would think you have a captive audience. The dudes want to get out their cell, they want to, good time, whatever. But a lot of times, they just in there for those reasons, right? And so you really talking to the walls. And it's never, and it has never been a time where that hasn't happened, and then I really had to reveal myself and really speak about the things that happened to me as a child, the things that happened, and I'm telling you, man, out of all the years that I ran my class, man, it may have been 2 or 3 times where it wasn't a brother who you look at and be like, that's a grown ass man who wouldn't cry when they started started expressing. It was like I gave them permission because I'm big old, the quintessential prison dude, big black bald head dude, and they like this dude. Then it's cool, must be cool, and we had like little brothers breaking down. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine all them years that you didn't break down. Ain't no wonder you in the penitentiary.
They've been carrying that.
Carrying it.
The whole time, and for decades.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man. So ain't no wonder why you in the penitentiary. Ain't no wonder why you got all these DVs on your record. You know what I'm saying? Or all this violence on your record. Because that's the only way you've seen to know how to express what it that you hurt.
Yeah.
That's you hurt.
That's what it boiled down to majority
That's what
of
it
the time.
boiled down
man.
to majority of the time. You hurt. So as fathers, I think it's okay, and I try to show wrong that like it's okay to have that you hurt. And we're gonna deal with it accordingly, but it's okay. We're gonna acknowledge all that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna let it stop you.
Right. Exactly.
But it's okay that you can feel that and acknowledge that. Now let's work through that. So I think that's key. We have brothers to the program that you got going. That I can't wait to be a part of the fatherhood initiative. Brothers got to be equipped to be fathers.
Yeah.
That's the only profession. You don't got to take a test. You just have a kid. Now
Yo, figure it out.
figure it out. You got somebody's life in your hands, and you ain't even equipped to have that person's life in your hands. But here you go. Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
It is, man. It is.
So
So I think we kind of, and that's why I've been trying to get more involved with groups like these. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the time, I guess for me personally, I never really had, first off, I wasn't really showing my emotions ever. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ever saying or talking much in any scenario or any environment. A lot of the time, I was just more the observer. You know what I mean? So I think I told y'all this before. I challenged myself like a year or 2 back to just start talking more, like opening up more, not being the one that just pull information from everybody else. I'm real good at that too. I get somebody to start talking to me. They be telling me all about themselves, and I done probably told them this much though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I always have that master. But I wanted to challenge myself to talk more. So these type of groups, man, it really does give you the opportunity to let a lot of that off of you, and it allows you to see things so much more clearly. And then what it also has done for me, man, talking more has allowed me to realize that I'm not the only one that feel and think that way.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't nothing wrong with me because I'm thinking that way. Nah, man, other men are going through the same things
Right.
though. It make you feel a little more at ease. You ain't as
Absolutely.
self-conscious now.
Like, man, I'm weird.
Yeah, you ain't
I'm
thinking.
messed up.
Yeah,
Like,
my head all messed up, man. I'm
Yeah.
thinking crazy. Nah,
Right.
man, this brother think like that brother think like that. Maybe I ain't that odd and crazy as I thought I was. I'm normal.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because just think, if you always feeling and telling yourself that you kind of off, you crazy because you dealing with these type of thoughts, and it's something that's common. But if you don't know that, you start reacting as if something's wrong.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
You know what I'm saying?
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
So that has really been a key point, man, in my growth, just being able to talk to folks. And it's helped me to realize a lot about myself just in interacting with other people, though. You know what I'm saying? And being more open and transparent in a lot of situations.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. I used to have a sister all the time. She was a CO at Richmond all the time. She used to always try to tell me, like, push me. Like, I'm I'm doing what I'm doing today in large part because of her. She used to always tell me, Shimmy, you gotta let people. You got people need to know what you know. People need to know what you went through, what you experienced. You gonna help somebody. Like, yeah, all right. For a while, I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. Like, yeah, I ain't on that. You know what I'm saying? But as I started evolving and growing as a man and becoming self-confident, and loving myself, like I kind of got a responsibility to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of brothers
Yep.
that's been through the same thing. Whether they was pushed off the porch, kicked off the porch, or told to go off the porch for the wrong reasons. Same people in my shoes. So they need to know that, okay, yeah, I've been there, but y'all see me now. So y'all can do this or do better or whatever the case may be. But then it ain't got to be, your story ain't just got to be that. So I feel that. So I like this, man. You know what I'm saying? I think we got something. I think we got something. I've been reading the comments. I think we got something. What's up? You got it? Go ahead, Doug.
Conversation I had with one of my sister's friends this weekend, and I mentioned about this right here, and she was telling me, she was like, her and her husband in the Air Force. She just retired, and she was telling me about how one of her friends is a teacher at a junior high school, and said how they had career day. And she said, you know how they be coming in and talk. She went there a couple times, but she said they never had nobody that's been in situations you was in. She was like, that's something y'all should think about.
You mean me or you?
She's talking about me.
You, right?
She's like, that's something y'all need to think about. She said, y'all need to go into the junior high schools and try to talk to them, get them at a young age. Which
Right.
I always knew this.
12 and 13.
And yeah, and what better way to start off is going in there. And first thing I was thinking about, like, me and you going, nah, we should set up something where the four of us go. So we basically showing them, like, you got to
Or at
pick
least
a
one
side.
of each.
You got to pick a side.
Yeah. One of each.
At
Yeah.
least one of each. So you got to pick a side. And we're manifestations, physical manifestations of the decision on which side you
And
pick.
exactly, because we gonna say, I know we both would say, like, you don't want to be on this side. Because we gonna be pointing towards y'all. That's the side y'all want to be on. We trying to get to where they at now.
Right.
You know, we messed up. We had a big portion of our life took it. So we're trying to get there. They at a young age where some of them will gravitate towards us, and you know, then that's another thing that come out of it, mentorship, where we can end up mentoring some of them kids, cause you know, like how we grew up, we ain't had no father. You know, you met your father late, but I'm a big believer in, you know, you trying to help a child, it don't have to be your child.
For
Right.
sure.
That's what's needed the most. That's what's needed the most.
Now this matters. We go in one of these classrooms where they say the class clown, the toughest one, those are the ones that we can get to quicker. Because I'm quite sure all of us got some type of experience being 12 years on 13-year-olds. So we explaining them, like, the experience we had then led up to where we at now. So if that's something that we can we can get together,
Yeah.
I would love it.
I don't think it's a bad idea either.
It'll be a powerful.
And then even people, so like you, so we're talking about these two sides, you know what I mean? But a lot of people they get it wrong in thinking like this side of things didn't come with pain and hurt too.
True.
Right.
You know
True
what I'm
that.
saying?
You're right.
Like there's pain, there's circumstances that were rough on this side of things too.
And I
You
think
know
that's
what I'm saying?
important to be
It's
discussed
because
they need to know that.
They need to understand that. And they don't a lot of the time. They think, that, well, your life was this, and this. That's why you were able to reach here. You
Right.
got what I'm saying? Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had to. A lot of people had to fight through a lot of BS. Maybe not to the extent that you did. So I will say that there's some extremes. But at the end of the day, you look back into some of our family history and you will understand. It wasn't all flowers and roses on this side either. That grass was just as brown as yours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That grass
That's a
wasn't
good
green.
point because
That's a great point.
because it's always the outcome.
Yep.
So if I'm telling them about pain and hurt and showing the direction I went into, and you showing them pain and hurt and the direction you went into,
Mom said she loved it.
so
Come on.
so at the end of I know me personally, I would say is you don't want to lose your life being in prison, or you don't want to lose your life. You don't want to get killed. And being in the streets, we was fortunate. None of us got killed.
I've
None
thought
of
about
us.
that for many years.
We was fortunate.
Wow.
None of us. And
That's
I mean,
not the story.
we
Most.
could have lost our lives plenty of times.
Yeah.
That's why that kitchen situation, I remember so well, because when I got shot in my leg, I'm just throwing up like, oh, that was just a gunshot wound to the leg. And the nurse was like, nah, it was so close to your main artery, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, what? At the time, I didn't understand what a main artery meant.
Yeah.
But when she said it, I felt it, so I knew it was something wrong.
Yeah.
So when I learned that I could have bled out, then I'm like, nah, that was serious.
Yeah.
But the point is like, if we all say this, if we go back and do it again, whatever, if me and you went through something similar, I'd have rather took your direction.
Yeah.
That would have stopped a lot of pain and suffering. You know, it's just not like when we in the streets, it's just not like we going through the pain and suffering.
Yeah.
When I got locked up, man, it's one thing my mama said to me, and it always hit home, and always brought tears to my eyes. She said, nah, I can sleep at night.
Yeah, my mama said
Yeah,
that.
like
Like
She said, nah, I can sleep at night. She said, you just don't know what I was going through. Every time the phone ring, you or your brother getting shot, or you or your brother going to jail.
Right.
She said, you don't know what I went through. I went through plenty of sleepless nights. Say somebody called me the wrong number, and she up the rest of the night.
Can't go back to bed.
Man, that stuff hurt me so bad, man. I'm just sitting there like,
So she was at comfort when you got locked up in
yeah,
prison.
yeah.
She know where you was at. My mama said the same.
Yeah.
They know where you at, and they know ain't nobody trying to kill you. I mean, at least they, you know, they don't
They don't know that
From
part.
their
They don't know that part, right? You
They
know
don't
what I'm
know that
saying?
part.
But
But I got what she said.
Yeah, you understand.
And that hurt it so bad, man. I'm sitting there like, I was a dummy.
Yeah,
I said, I put my mama through that,
yeah.
and now I'm out of my kid's life. So that was like a double whammy right then and there.
Yeah, like you got to understand that your life is so much bigger than yours. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? It ain't just you. You ain't just living for yourself a lot of the time.
I was being selfish
Selfish lifestyle.
because the stuff I was doing and the lifestyle I was living, I was being selfish. I never sat back. That's why I say I respect my son so much. The sacrifice he made. I went the wrong way. I would just wanted to make that quick, fast money. I always had a business mind. Always wanted anybody to know me. They always know. I always talk about starting my own business. But I went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And for my son to do what he did, I got nothing but the most respect for him.
Right.
I didn't make that sacrifice.
But you got to also what you did do, man. You allowed him to become that person that he is, though. You know what I mean? He told you with his own words. Like, you were more of a father than me than my friends whose father was out here on a daily and regular basis. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take some credit.
I take a little bit,
Yeah.
but I know what you're saying. I don't just go out and say, yeah. I take full credit.
Oh, no, you can't take full credit,
No.
but. Yeah.
So I always say I take a little bit.
Think about
Sometimes I say I don't take none, but the way they are now, man, I think me getting locked up would really help because
It was helpful.
I start learning who I am.
Yeah. Wow.
So what y'all say about the confidence and the self-love,
Right.
I got it in prison because of who I want to be now.
Yeah.
And to go through something like that and say, like, he'll tell you, prison saved my life. And I know he can say the same thing.
Without a doubt.
And that's what, and I know I can speak for both of us, that's what we don't want nobody else to go through.
Yeah.
Don't find out who you are through prison.
I used to always say that it's sad, but the reality for a lot of young black men is prison has become their rites of passage. You know, in our culture, we have, once the girls reach puberty, and once they reach puberty, the women take the young girl out and teach her how to be a woman, and the men take the young boy out and teach him to be a man, and they bring him back into the community to help and to aid the community. Prison has become that rites of passage. You know, you go out, you go away for a long time and learn what it is, if you're fortunate, because you got a lot of dudes who just go away and get old.
Yeah.
You go away and you have to try to learn what it is to be a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's sad, man. That's sad.
I had an OG tell me that. He like, man, jail ain't that bad, man. Just like school for adults. I was like, what? Like,
I know what that type is.
yeah, he said, man, nah, man, jail ain't that bad. Just like going to school as an adult. I ain't really feel that, but I'm guaranteeing I'm not the first young cat he done told that to.
Yeah, he probably told it to me because I used to have, my mentality was I'd rather do 10 years in jail than 10 years in hell because I'm going to go to jail for 10 years and then I'm going to come home, I'm going to be a superstar, celebrity in the hood.
Right.
You know, This is part of the game. That's part of the game, baby. That ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? You go to jail, you do what you got to do. You know, it don't stop in jail. You come on home and you keep it moving. Whoa. And in jail, I used to say, if I see some of them dudes coming through here, I'm kicking their ass, right? Because you done gave me some bull crap. You know what I'm saying? But I had to learn, too, though, that for a lot of them, that's what it was. For a lot of them, that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? And they was cool with that. So I can't even knock them for that. But that ain't what it is for me now. That ain't it,
Yeah, because you can go to jail and be the so-called best criminal there is. Because you talking to different people, you got time to sit back and think. So
Mastermind.
the person told you that, that's why he said that, because he didn't go there and try to better himself in a positive way. He's just looking at it like, damn, I did this wrong. I go out here, I could do it this way. I can get with this person and be a better criminal. That's the wrong mind frame of that. And I done ran across numerous people like that.
Yeah. They say, I done ran across brothers say, yeah, I know I got about 2 more numbers in me.
They already
And
know.
those are the people I
They
stayed
know,
away from.
because they plotting, they plot and they move on the way out the door, but like, yeah, I got about 2 more numbers in me.
Yeah, because in the federal system, you meet the right person before you go home.
Yeah.
I don't need to say no more, but
For sure. But fella, it's 6:30. We wind up rolling.
Yeah, that's good. That's how it's supposed to
That's
go.
how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? So once again, I appreciate y'all, man, supporting the vision that I had, man, and helped me make it to come to fruition. I feel like we all are a key ingredient to making it successful. I really believe that wholeheartedly. And I know without a doubt that I couldn't do it by myself. I don't care what nobody say, even if it's my vision, you gotta have somebody believe in it. I don't believe in self-made. I think that's a myth that we buy into. Even if you create a product, you create that, somebody got to believe in you enough to buy, to patronize your product. You ain't buying and selling to yourself.
Right.
So I believe that, you know what I'm saying? I believe that we all bring something uniquely intricate to this that's going to make it be something that's going to be special.
Yeah.
I think we right now in a time and a space where it's needed.
But definitely,
So,
definitely, for sure.
anybody got anything to say?
Can we all close out with a question that I posed to everyone?
Absolutely.
So, I was asking this, with the coalition, to a lot of different people. What does fatherhood mean to you? To wrap up our topic.
To me, fatherhood means responsibility.
Okay.
Example.
Example.
Lead by example.
Fatherhood means leading by example.
I like the responsibility. I think I'm a roll with Shenny on that, with Will on that one. A seer on that one.
Yeah. And it's funny because I asked everybody that I told you I get everybody to talk, but I don't ever talk. Fatherhood has been a lesson for me. I'll say that. It's been a lesson, man. Like, I'm learning. Fatherhood has taught me to learn. It's forced me to learn.
I like
You know what I'm
that.
saying? So I say fatherhood for me is a lesson. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to follow that up one of these sessions, but I like that. I like that.
Tap in.
So for you all who are listening right now, like we said, we just introducing this. Pay attention to our we all got Facebook pages, right?
Yeah. everybody
Pay
got-
attention to our Facebook page. We're gonna let y'all know when we have it again, so y'all can tune in, tell your friends. Anybody got questions, you feel free to send them to us, and we'll try to address them during this time. So if it's a topic you want us to talk about, send it to us. With that being said, we love y'all. Respect. Peace.